Today we are specifically talking about Kilimani area and its environs. We were never meant to do beacon to beacon. Beacon to beacon is basically building on the boundary. In some areas, people are doing that. From Vision 2030, the model was concentrate development in the urban areas and ease, or rather build plot to building ratio. Basically, plot to building ratio is how much property you can develop or can cover a plot.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. Today we will be talking about property trends in Kilimani and its environs. And I would like for this gentleman here to introduce himself.
Thank you. My name is Eric Gitonga. I'm the founder and CEO of KITO. KITO is a real estate agency that is a franchise model, the first franchise model in Kenya. And we help agents to build their own businesses, but also the agents serve clients who, like buyers, sellers, landlords, tenants, investors, manage property. So KITO, that's all it's about. It's just it's an agency. It's a business within it has agents who do business within a business, and we love to help people find homes.
Okay, so let's start with a video that we did a while back on real estate cycles.
Okay.
Because I believe it will help us pick from where we want to be today.
Yeah, that's one of my best videos because I like to observe how the market is performing, and that kind of information helps me and many people to make informed decisions. So in that video, I talk about the cycles. And so briefly, the market has experienced cycles. These cycles are not cut on stone because they have they can be altered. But it's a pattern that you have observed even around the world, where you have 7 years plus or minus 3 of the curve going up, 7 years plus minus 3 of going down, and then back up again. And so these cycles can be affected by different things. Like they can be disrupted. Like we noticed COVID disrupted the cycles greatly. Then soon after, other things have come up. Now we have war going on in Iran. But the trend has been like this. Around 2008 is when our market started picking up. In 2008 is when there was a global crash. So we were in the world was in a trench. It was in its depression. Then from there, the market started going up. Our real estate market boomed. We had a new president. Things were doing well. He served 2 terms. I believe he did a fantastic job. We rode a wave. We plateaued in 2015. People did not realize we plateaued, and the prices were a bit high then. But the market was doing a correction. We started declining, and we declined all the way. For 7 years later, that was 20. So 2015 plus 7 years, 2022. Now 2022, we're in the middle of COVID, or just towards the tail end of it. So what you've experienced is prices going down. Okay. And the best way to look at it is price per square feet, I think, which we'll talk about later on. Those are some of the major differences. And so 70 years plus or minus 3, let's say at 10 years, 2025, we're supposed to be now in our lowest depression. We're supposed to be going up. So I could say this is the year where things begin to go up. But again, as I said, it's just a prediction. I don't know what determines it. But in economics, we did a demand and supply curve kind of thing. we studied about demand and supply. We studied about external factors. These are all things to consider, but the patterns are important to consider, because even the people who are investors, people influential, they consider these factors and patterns. Even in the Bible, you see them. Your life has a rhythm.
Yeah.
There's a way you sleep in and out of rhythm. The clock has the day. There's a day. There's a night. There's a rhythm to life.
Yeah.
So these cycles are really have a meaning to it.
Absolutely. So I have a couple of questions here.
Yep.
So if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So what were developers building then, and what are they building now? Is there a difference?
It's a good question. So I entered this market 2009, and I noticed one thing between then and now. In 2000, before 2009, today we are specifically talking about Kilimani, Lavington area, Kilimani area and its environs. There are lots of single dwelling homes and townhouses. Very few apartments. So before these apartments, single dwelling homes and townhouses. And as a market, as a economy began to grow, from Vision 2030, the model was concentrate development in the urban areas and ease, or rather, the model that Vision 2030 had is to free the agricultural land. So because we're majorly an agricultural nation, the model was designed to help us not stress or develop agricultural land so we can grow food. So concentration moved into the urban areas, development moved to the urban areas, commercial activities moved to the urban areas. It was already happening, it's just that now the Vision 2030 brought some focus into it. So I wouldn't say Vision 2030 is entirely the reason why we've seen this transformation, but also say logically, some things are necessitated by people moving to the urban areas, especially white collar jobs, what we call white collar jobs. So then we started seeing apartments, an increase in apartments up to 7 stories. A few came up, probably around 2012, going upwards, 7-story with lifts. Because then 7-story, if you got an approval for 7-story, it was more like approval of a commercial building. So those are the approvals. Then zoning rules started changing. They were tabled. I don't think they've been approved until today. They're tabled in Parliament, but I don't think they're approved until today. But we got a point where now people are doing 13, then we move to 16. Now we place like Kilimani, guys are doing 17, 18. Westlands past 20 floors. Lavington, same thing like Kilimani. It's not very clear how high you can go, because people have been taken to court for going higher than 16 floors. But as it is, they said, I think there's some the urbanization, the planning allows for some beyond 16 floors. That is up to us now, who developers who are applying, to make sure they comply with the rules. Yeah.
So then this just means with the increase in buildings around these areas, with the recent rains we've experienced, the floods,
yes,
and whatnot, because of course with that,
yes,
the drainage system becomes affected,
yes,
sewage and
true,
all that. Yeah, Nairobi has become something else.
Yes. So this is a regional plan, and I'll encourage our viewers to look for the Vision 2030 document. There's a comprehensive one, there's a detailed one, and there's a summary. The detailed one is over 180 pages. We were meant to adjust the zoning rules after adding infrastructure, or as we add some infrastructure and social amenities. So So we were supposed to make sure there's provision of water,
Mm-hmm.
roads, footpaths, sewer, drainage, all those things are supposed to take place. And if you've been watching news, you can see there's been some arguments why we are having all these developments when you don't have the supporting amenities and infrastructure. In some areas, it's very bad in that some social amenities like playground, places that are meant for recreation have been grabbed. So the planning, urbanization, the urban planning is supposed to be designed in such a way that it gives people a conducive or a place they can live comfortably. If you travel in other countries, you'll see that some countries have had some good zoning rules and they've allowed for that. There are parks. There are all these things that the community they provided for the community, and that supports the development, the developments they are having. The other thing is plot to building ratio. Basically, plot to building ratio is how much property you can develop or can cover a plot. So when you say when it's high, it means you have few properties on a single plot. When it's low, you have lots of property, especially occupying this land, and so you have very little space left as land that is usable. We were never meant to do beacon to beacon. Beacon to beacon is basically building on the boundary. In some areas, people are doing that. We were meant to leave space between buildings to allow light, ventilation, and many other things. Think about it. I think some of the oldest buildings is a CBD. When you think about it, have you noticed? Yes, some buildings in CBD may be attached to one another, but they have a street at the back and the front.
They do.
Now, what will happen to this building where people now can come and build on your beacon? It will reach a point, people will be left with some those who won't observe the building codes will be left with only the front that is that is open, because the front is usually like the road that has no obstruction. But if we continue building plot to plot, some people will be blocked all around. And that needs to be avoided. So that land to plot to building ratio needs to be really observed. And the developer sometimes it's just up to you to say, you know what, yes, I want to make money, but I want not to build beacon to beacon, so I can allow some space for the people who come and live there in the future.
Yeah. Okay. So we can maybe talk about the pricing.
Yes.
The pricing definitely has shifted.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the pricing has shifted greatly for different reasons. The most obvious reason is the value of the shilling. I think in 2008, the shilling was $2 was probably 75, 80. Trying to remember. What I know is that in 2007, it was about 75. Today, we are at 128, 130. So that means that the prices of property will definitely shift due to the standard of living and inflation. So you will not expect a property to be the same price those many years. And today, you'll not expect. Then the cost of building has also gone up, still has gone up. Now it's going to go up again because transport is a problem. Fuel, cost of energy is going to go up because of the war, all those things. So the price has shifted. So in 2008, or before 2008, some of the apartments are bought for 5 million before 2008. People have sold them for 20 million today. And that's why I say bonds, money market funds can never triumph over real estate property. Why? Because they don't rise with inflation. So someone who had 5 million shillings in their account, let's say 2004, they've earned an interest but they've missed out on capital appreciation of the property. So that person is probably selling at 20 million today or 18 million, and they've missed out on rental income. So those are two incomes that we don't look at mostly. So there's been an increase in price in capital appreciation of property. And then a point reached, then we started building smaller units to meet the demand. So developers realized, okay, fine, if you keep on building the same type of units and they're now more expensive, then they realize they're going out of reach of the normal, or rather their target clientele. So say they wanted to keep the price at 10 million, but demand is making the price go up and inflation is making the price go up. So maybe to 12, 13, 14 million. Let's say for us, an apartment of 100 square meters, 150 square meters. So they started reducing the sizes of the apartments so that they can still remain within the bracket they needed to meet the target clientele. So then came the introduction of the smaller units, smaller 3 beds, then the introduction of 2 beds. 2 beds were few. The 2 beds were the apartments were rarely built in those days. It was mostly 3 beds. And then the 2 beds were either the attic houses that remained, or there are a few developers who thought, let me just do a whole block of 2 beds. So then they started building 2 beds. Then it moved to 1 bed because the appetite of the people, they realized everyone wants to own a piece of Kilimani, Kililation, have it on the up market. And they built for them something they could afford. So we started building studios. So studios, 1 beds, 2 beds, is a demand that was pushed by buyers who wanted to own a piece of Kilimani, Nation, Lavington. But also investors came in and said, "Oh, know what? We can do Airbnb." So then that's another market. Most of studios, 1 beds, 2 beds, ended up in the hands of investors. Then now we are shifting again because of the saturation of the studios, 1 beds, 2 beds. Now there are the new developments, the ones that are being completed 2027, 2028, 2029, have more of 2 beds and 3 beds being developed as compared to 2-3 years ago.